let's just agree in a unanimous way. Do not keep your money in a bank. This is for the second time I'm making this. Do not keep your money in a bank, no matter how small it is. I know you're like, hey, Joseph, I'm trying the best that I can. I'm using the traditional way of savings. Remember that name that we used to say called savings? Yeah, I'm saving it in a bank and I'm keeping out there because I'm looking forward into. Listen, this is 2024 for God's sake. Well, it depends on when you're watching this video. Let me just say this is 21st century. Maybe you'll be watching this video after 70 years. We'll still be in our 21st century. Anyway, so the point is, please do not keep your money in a bank in 2024 and the 21st century. Things are changing. Things are transforming. You can just imagine what happens. For example, I was watching news on what is happening in America. Do you know that's a big deal? I mean, not even America, whatever the place. Listen to the news in Kenya. We have the Gen Z protest. You go to the US, you go to the UK. They fired their their prime minister. If you go to the news are all over the places, and of course that has a repercussions on the economy. What is and of course maybe the inflation goes higher and higher and higher. So if you have your money in a bank, it is losing the value. So what exactly are you supposed to do, especially in this era that we are in, as far as the 21st century and the money is concerned? Do not put it in your bank. That's what I'm going to share with you the next like 14 minutes. All what you need to do is to sit back, relax, watch this video to the end, and guess what? Just press 3 buttons. Number 1, the like button, then also the subscription button, and also leave a comment on the comment section. And if you're in opposition to, then you can share the video. Just press 3 things. Okay, now let's get this thing. Okay, why do I say do not put your money in a bank, no matter how small it is? I know you might have some savings there, quote unquote savings, and I think the best term to use nowadays, let's substitute the term saving with what we call, if you're saving for the emergency fund, well and good, but still not in a bank. This is what you do. There are some of the best alternatives that you can use in place of a bank. The same bank that you have, in over 95% chances, they have what we call the MMF. I've ever shared with you this thing called money market fund. I repeat, this is a unit trust. This is actually what we call the mutual fund. It's called a money market fund. It's a way that keeps you liquid. You see the way you have a bank account where you can access your money at any given time. In a money market fund account, you can access your money at any given time. You can, deposit at any given time. You can as well go ahead and, and then again, guess what happens now? The advantage of it. The advantage of it is that they usually pay you what we call the interest. And the interest in a money market fund in Kenya, as we speak, as I'm making this video on July 2024, we have an average of 13.5%. That is the average that we have. Can you imagine this? The inflation as we speak in Kenya is around 4.7, and thank God, I mean, it's 4.7%. It was around 5.5%. There was a time it was around 9.6%. You can just imagine what are happening. Can you imagine inflation at 9.6%? Do you know what that means? If you have 100K in a bank, okay, let's say, for example, last year of 2023, this was around 9.6%. Let's say you had kept your 100,000 from the Jan of 2023, all the way to Jan of 2024. And we have an inflation of 9.6%. Do you know this means what? This 9.6 for it simply means literally your money has lost the purchasing power. If you go press your pin and whatever, you're going to see the balance is still 100K. Well and good, you're not safe. Why? See, it means things in terms of what your money could have bought back a year ago, it is actually less by 9.6. Simply means it is you have actually lost 9,600. Simply your money is actually at around, how much is this? This is around 8,400, no, 9,400, 9,400, 90,400. That is what you have in your bank, 90,400. That what could have been bought by 100,000. It is short by 9,600, and that means that your money literally, what is there is actually 90,400. The 9,600 is gone, and right now as we speak, the inflation is around 4.7, and that means if you leave your money there idle, 4.7 of it has actually lost value, the purchasing power. So what do you do so that you caution yourself from this? And what I always tell people is this: the banks will the banks will tell you, go ahead and do what? Go ahead and fix your money. Go ahead and fix your money, or what you call the fixed account. Fixed account gives you maybe say 5%. 5%, this is pre-tax. The pre-tax, I won't show you how they actually reap you. The 5%, they give you 5%, even 6%. 6%. This 6% is pre-tax. Pre-tax means before tax. Anything invested is actually has to be deducted. There's a taxes there, okay? And the 6%, if you deduct 15% from the interest that you gain, probably this one will be brought back to 4% or thereabout, or sometimes maybe 3.5 or 3.9 or thereabout. Again, this figure is way below the 4.7%. Therefore, keeping your money in a bank, it is not an option, has never been, will never be an option. Well, I'm not saying you keep your money under the mattresses. No. Show up to the same bank and tell them, hey, you know what? I don't want to have this money in this kind of a normal account or current account. I want to have this money in what we call the money market fund. The money market fund gives you 13%. This is pre-tax. Maybe let's say even this goes back to 10%. If it goes back to 10%, I mean, guess what happens now? If the inflation is at 4.7%, go check the inflation of your country. See, if you get the 10% and also the inflation is at this, you actually above this by 5.3. So your money has actually gained value. And this that means that you put your 100,000 in a whole set of a year, you've actually added 5,300. And this is literally, you'll actually see there is an addition of 5,300 on top of this. That's what you've gained and earned out there based on what you're getting on top of the inflation and what have you. Otherwise, if you are to calculate the entire stretch of it, you're going to realize it's 10,000. But factor in the inflation goes with whatever it goes with, then you're left with 5,300 and something of sort. Okay, now the point is this: always make sure that you don't put that money in a bank lying idle, because it is not the best option. And there are other variety areas where you can be able to invest. You can go to some areas and invest something called T-bills. There are things called T-bills, and there are other things called the T-bonds, okay? And I know you're like, hey, Joseph, I don't trust the government. I don't even know whether my money is safe and secured and what have you. Let me tell you one thing secret, if you don't understand this, all right? Whether you invest or you don't. Even if you keep that money in a bank, and you say you cannot be able to invest because you don't trust the government, or it can go bankrupt, do you know what happens? Even that money that you have in a bank, the banks usually risk in that way. They invest on these bills and these bonds. This is how they make money and what have you. So in simple terms, you're saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to risk the money. You bank will risk the money. And again, and guess what happens now? The difference here is this. You keep that money lying idle in a bank. They risk the money. They get the profit. They never share with you, unless you buy shares for that given company. And I always tell people, thou shalt never put your money in a bank that you don't own. Yeah, that's another point. I think I should make a whole video about that. But let me just explain to you what I mean. Never put your money in a bank that you don't own. Why? Especially if you're taking loans from that bank. Probably check if that bank is a PLC. Okay, there's something called PLC. PLC means public listed company, meaning anyone can buy shares, including you. Shares simply means you buy equity of that business or that bank. And equity simply means you own that bank. You own a percentage of it. And there was a video that I made and I told you how you can actually get interest free when you get a loan from a bank. Let's say they pay their shares at around, for example, right now as we speak, though the market, the stock market is a bit down, and I bet this is the best time to buy. It's a bit down, but I will say that the percentage yield as of now, it's approximately at 10% or thereabout, 8 to 10 or 12% there, but it depends with the company that you pick. Yeah. Now, what does it mean? So if you actually buy shares of that given company, guess what happens now? They even take your money and go invest. And therefore, the interest that they get in the profit and what have you, you actually get to enjoy it at the end of the year when they pay the dividends. So it's always good to make sure that at least you understand these nitty-gritties. They're small, microscopic information, but they hardly share this information. Because if they do, then it means you cannot empower someone whom you want to control. So they have to leave you in a dumbfounded state. They have to leave you in an area where there is a certain term I'm losing, where someone knows everything and another person knows nothing. There is that big gap between those who know and those who do not know. Therefore, those who do not know are taken advantage of. We love banks. I love banks. We don't keep our money under the mattresses no longer. But what we can be able to do is to sail with these banks and tell them, hey, you know what? If I invest on a money market fund, you guys, you have a management fee of 2%. So you're getting something out of my money. I'm also getting something out of my money. So we are winning, ain't we? All right? Or maybe if you have a good cash, you can actually go to a bank and have what we call a highly negotiated fixed deposit. Because there are two types of deposit, if you didn't know. We have a normal deposit and we have the highly negotiated deposit. You can say, hey, I have like 500 million. I have something of it. Hey, guess what? How about you guys? I give you money, you do the business. How much do I get on this? You just negotiate. In the world of finance, you have to know how to pull towards your end. That's a reality. There is a selfish aspect, and not really selfish. Let me just say you need to be smart. All right. So in that case regard, don't say, hey, I cannot invest. I'm so scared. And what? You aren't supposed to be scared, because even these banks, this is what they do with with your money. There's something called the fractional reserve, if you didn't know that. The fractional reserve simply means there is a percentage of the money. By law, all the commercial banks in Kenya, they are supposed, not even in Kenya, it's all over the place, they can actually take it, go invest. For example, if you put a million bob in any commercial bank, they usually take 90% of that money, that's 900K, they go invest for them to run their activities. And then the rest, 10% or 100K, they leave it there for you just in case you want to withdraw your money at any given time. Now, that's what we call the fractional reserve. So the 90% of your money is actually at risk. And I'm not telling you even to invest all your money. I'm telling you maybe you can even invest half of that what you have. So do you choose this? Do you want the bank to risk your 90% of the cash, or do you want yourself to risk 50% of your cash? So you're saying, hey, I cannot invest. They're investing your money. Let me ask a very simple question. Whenever next time you go to a bank, just check the environment. First of all, it's a very nice place, very clean. You know, they have very well-dressed people, meaning that they have to be paid. There are securities or the police officers, maybe at the door or something. They have a very nice, you know, television and whatever the thing and what have you. The place is heavily built. Where do you think they get that money? They use your money. There's a reality. People borrow that money that you actually put there. For those who understand how you can actually use this tool called loan and borrowing and what have you, you can actually benefit a lot from this. But please do not get in the world of borrowing people's money if you cannot be able to get out, you cannot be able to monitor your money. If you're not good at your money, even people's money, you cannot be good. Just forget about it. So what do we agree on this video? Please go check on the availability of money market fund. You can go check on the availability of bills and bonds. Guess what? The money market fund keeps you liquid. And by the way, if you have some emergency fund, I would highly recommend you put it in a money market fund, because it can be accessed at any given moment. You can get this money at any given time, and it's also earning you some interest. And the interest here is actually accredited daily, compounded monthly, and it's payable monthly or distributed monthly. So it's an amazing tool to actually have as far as the emergency fund is concerned. And also investments, okay? Then we can actually go for medium term. That is the T-bonds. The T-bonds, you can actually go for 5 years, for 6 years, for 7 years, for 3 years, depends on the bonds that is available. You can actually put your money in this case. You can be able to earn something at the end of the day. The treasury bonds, again, kinda gives you liquidity, but it's not as liquid as the money market fund. For example, if you go to a bill that goes for 91 days, you know, yes, right now I do not have my money, but in 3 months' time, I will have my money back, and of course, I will have the interest on top of that money. That is exactly how you go about it, all right? The T-bills, the combination of these three, you have some money market fund, you have the bills, and you have the bonds. It gives you're liquid at any given time, you're liquid at a certain particular times, and of course, you'll be liquid in a certain period of time, say after 4 or 5 years and what have you. So you can actually use this one to actually monitor and be like, hey, you know what? I'm looking forward, I'm saving each and every month, where you save throughout the money market fund, and this maybe 4 or 5 million that I have, let me put it in a bond, because I'm looking forward for me to make it 8 million, for me to actually buy a property and come up with a house, if that is my goal, or maybe come up with a structure of investment that is earning me an X amount of money. So when you have a combination of these two things, that is what propels you towards achieving your goal. And not just these three things. I'm actually dwelling in these three things because they're regarded as low risk investments. You can get into the stocks, and the stocks ones, for those you don't put the dear money, you put that money that you know you don't have any stress with it, and it's actually your affordable loss, and you can look at it from a longer point of view, not a short period, not even 1 year, not 2, not even 3, not 4. Look at it from longer period of time. So these are just bad examples. But obviously don't go to a bank and ask for the T-bills and the T-bonds. They will tell you, yeah, they're available, but now you'll be a nominee of that bank. And then it means whatever you'll be getting as an interest, you'll be eating with these guys. So you can access these bills and bonds in a primary market. And if you don't know how, I can teach you step by step. And this is why I always tell you, if you need my guidance or this kind of things or this, you can always take that number. You give me a call, I can take you step by step. Because the mistake that people do, you shoot a call to your bank. Hey, you know what? So and so bank, I would like you to help me on how to invest on the T-bills. They tell you, oh yes, we can. You just come. And then you don't have to go the stresses of opening those accounts and what have you. Just tell us, do you want to invest? And boom, then they invest that money. And once they invest that money, obviously they do what we call the secondary market. They now act as a broker. Okay, let me not go last. It's quite a long process. But anyway, if you'd like to know all these things, get that number of mine, shoot me a call. Let's talk business. For now, it's a goodbye. Don't forget to leave me a like, comment on the also comment section. Shoot me that like, share the video if you're in a position to. For now, it's a goodbye. See you in the next one.